Hey crochet friends, I'm Tiffany and welcome to my channel where I teach you a little bit of gardening and a little bit of crochet. So today's topic is crochet related, obviously. We are going to be learning how to make this so stinking cute filet crochet market bag. Now you can use this as any type of bag that you would like. Just know that there are holes. It's not a solid bag for like a purse. So you just got to get a little creative on how to store away your tiny items if you did want this as a purse. All right, so let's go over all the things that you're going to need to make this. You need one skein of yarn, and not just any skein. It's going to need to be this size, a 482 yard of a skein. So this one is Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo Stripes. This is the one I'm going to be using in this video. It's going to give you a gradual change into what looks like stripes versus closer color changes. I like this too, but this is called Sutherland Stripe, this exact thing of color. So if you want what I'm doing for the video, that's that color. If you wanted this one that I've already made, it's called Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo, and again 482 yards. And if you spin it, it's called Icelandic, and then that is this one for what I've already made. So you just need one, and you won't even use that whole one. This is how much I've got left over from that skein of yarn. So I still have a ton to make more projects with. Obviously not enough to make a second bag, but it's still a ton of yarn. So I love those projects where you just need to buy one skein of yarn. H5mm hook. You need a pair of scissors. You need sewing needle and 4 safety pins to mark. There's going to be 4 spots where you're going to need to mark as you crochet. So that is all you're going to need. So let's just jump right in on how to get started making this bag. You need to start with a slip knot, and I'll just show you. This is your working yarn, so you just need to make a curve with it, and this part, give yourself about 4 or 5 inches. It doesn't really have to be exact. And you're going to pinch that with your thumb and pointer finger of your left hand. And then you're going to pinch this yarn between your middle and ring finger like that. It's going to create a little loop. Now with your right hand, you're going to make a heart with your thumb and pointer. You're going to go underneath that loop. With your palm facing up, you're going to turn your palm facing down, and it's going to create an X. Turn your right wrist towards your left wrist, and you're going to grab this yarn, pinch that, and then let the other yarn fall off your pointer and thumb, pulling your wrists away from each other, and it's going to slowly turn into a slip knot like that. You can let go of the tail and put your crochet hook in that loop, and then just pull these two till that slip knot gets smaller and smaller up to your hook. And you don't want it to be too snug, but you want it to be free enough to move, just not tight. So now you need to chain in a multiple of 2 plus 3. So my pattern is I chained 84 plus 3 is 87. So for the exact pattern, you chain 87. So pause the video, chain 87, and I will meet you back after that. Okay, so I did my 87 chains. Now in the 5th chain from the hook, you're going to do 1 double crochet. So knot what's on your hook. That's your 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. You're going to yarn over, go in that chain, and I'm going to turn my chain to grab 2 loops instead of 1. That is a preference. You can go in 1 or 2. Yarn over, pull through. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Now the chains that you skipped over, because you're in the 5th chain from the hook, that's 4 chains that you skipped over. 3 of those chains is counted as your 1st double crochet. Your 4th chain is a chain 1. So you got your 1st double crochet, chain 1. We just did a double crochet. Now you're going to chain 1. You're going to skip a stitch, go in the next with a double crochet, just like we just did. You can go in the 1 loop or 2 loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 1. You're going to skip a stitch, go in the next with 1 double crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 1. And you're just going to keep doing that all the way across. Your very last stitch should be a double crochet. I did my chain 1. I'm going to yarn over, skip a stitch, go in the next and do 1 double crochet, and I'm going to do that all the way across, and I will meet you at the end to show you how you should be ending with 1 double crochet in your very last chain. At the end of my row where I have 2 chains left, that is what you should have. I did a double crochet, chain 1, you skip a chain, go into the very last chain with a double crochet, and that is how you end row 1. So if you didn't, then you just need to figure out where you messed up, try again, because this is how you need your pattern to work. Now you chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and turn your work to face the other side. You're going to go into the top of the previous double crochets, the chain right above them, and do a double crochet. So your chain 4 counts as your first double crochet, chain 1. So this is technically your second double crochet. Go into that and do a double crochet. Now you chain 1 and you do a double crochet on top of the next double crochet right here in that space. See that space? Chain 1, go into the next double crochet right there in that space. And you do this all the way across, doing 1 double crochet in every double crochet from the previous row and chaining 1 in between. And I have 1 double crochet left with my chain 4 on the side, so do your double crochet above that double crochet like you've been doing, chain 1, and that chain 4 counts as your first double crochet, so you need to end with a double crochet on top of it. So you're going to do it in the 3rd chain in that chain 4. So I'm going to try really hard to show you that's your first chain, your second chain, your 3rd chain. That is the chain that you're going to go in every single time you end your rows from now on. It's the 3rd chain right here. So you yarn over, it's this spot right here. See, I'm in that 3rd chain, got 1 chain, 2 chains, I'm in the 3rd chain, and you do your double crochet to end your row so that you have a double crochet above a double crochet. So we just completed row 2, and from row 2 to row 39, it's just the same exact thing as row 2. So you're going to start by chaining 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, turn your work, and how your double crochets are on top of each other. Go into that next double crochet with your double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, go all the way across, and I can still show you at the very end in case you just need a refresher, but after that it's the same repeat. Row 2 to row 39 is the same exact row. So right here, right above your double crochet, you do a double crochet, chain 1, see right above it, and just keep doing that, and I will meet you at the end case I'm getting towards the end, I have my last double crochet in a true double crochet, because now I have my chain 4. You chain 1, and in that third chain you do your last double crochet. So you can always turn your chain, or turn your chain 4. You have 1 chain, 2 chain, 3 chain, and you would go in that with your double crochet, so that you can finish your double crochet on top of your double crochet. Now you chain 4, and a good tip, if that is too complicated to keep finding your chain 3 or the third chain of your chain 4, how we just chained 4, on that third chain you can put a stitch marker. Since you're not going to be using your stitch markers yet, so you have 1, 2, 3, go in that and do your stitch marker. Just let it hang there and go across the row, and it's when you come back is when you will attach. So there's going to be another marker over here, and you would just keep moving it. So you have your 1, 2, 3 right there. That's your third chain. So you are at the end of this row, you chain 4, you marked that third chain, turn your work. Now this marker doesn't matter until you get to the next row, but continue on this row doing your double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1. I will meet you at the end and I will show you what it looks like to have a marker in it. Chain 1, and now you're at your stitch marker. There's still a stitch marker at the beginning of your row because you chained 4. So this is the one I was talking about. When you get to the end of your row and you have to mess with it, there's no figuring out what the third chain is. It's marked. It is that space right there. So you can take out your stitch marker, just keeping track of that space, and then you go in it with your last double crochet, and then that is how you don't even have to think about what the third chain is. And then you chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then you'd mark your 1, 2, 3rd chain, so that when you get back to this, you will have your mark. And at the beginning of your row, it's marked, so that when you get done with this next row, it's there. So you have 2 markers going, you just keep swapping them. So you chained 4, you marked your 3rd chain, now you turn, and then you just repeat up to row 39. Like I said, row 1, 2, 3, 4, now we're on row 5. Go up to 39 and I will meet you back. It will just turn out to be somewhat of a square. It doesn't have to be perfect, but that's the look that you're going for. It's going to just be a big old square. So when you get done with that, you can pause the video, work that up. It doesn't matter how long it takes you, just come back and find me, and then we'll move on to the next part. Okay, so I just completed all of my 39 rows. This is the gradual change in stripes that I was trying to describe. It looks so pretty. I love how softly it changes the colors in this pattern. So this was row 39. We're just going to jump right in and start row 40. We are going to start by chaining 3 right on the end. 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to turn, and now we're going to work in half double crochets, and it's just going to start slowly making our holes a little bit smaller each row that we start from here on out, because you're trying to get your bag to then start closing up to turn into a bag instead of a big square. In this next stitch, just like you were going to be doing your double crochets, you're going to do a half double crochet instead. So you yarn over and go into that same spot. You pull up a loop and you have the 3 loops on your hook. You yarn over and you go through all 3 of those loops, and that is how you do a half double crochet. And then you're going to still chain 1 just like before, and you're just going to do half double crochet in all of your previous double crochets. So just instead of doing double crochets, you're just doing half double crochets. So you'd yarn over, go in that space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all three, and then you're going to still do your chain ones. So you're going to go all the way across doing half double crochet, chain one, half double crochet at the top of your double crochets, and I will meet you at the end of row 40. Still doing my half double crochets, chaining one, and in that third chain, like you've been doing, you're going to go in and do your last half double crochet for the row. That way you end right on that side. Now for row 41, you're going to chain two, turn your work, and your chain two counts as a single crochet, chain one. So for row 41, you're going to do single crochets. So in that second half double crochet is when you're going to do your single crochets. So you go in, yarn over, pull up a loop, two loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both of those loops, and that's how you have a single crochet. And you're going to chain one like you've been doing, and then just keep going with single crochet, chain one, single crochet, chain one. I will meet you at the end of row 41. And now in the second chain from your chain three, because this is going to be a chain three when you did half double crochets, it's going to be that middle chain. You have 1, 2, 3. It's that second chain. You're going to go in and do your last single crochet right there. Now for row 42, you're just going to chain one and turn. Now this row, you're going to do one single crochet in every single crochet, no chaining one in between them. And again, you're going to start with the second stitch. So just go right on top, do a single crochet, go over to your next single crochet, do a single crochet, your next single crochet, and that's all you're going to do. You're not doing any chain ones in between. All the way across, just one single crochet, and you should have a total of 42 single crochets. And now you have a chain two. There's 1, 2. In that first chain, you're going to do your last single crochet right there. So to start row 43, you're going to chain one and turn your work. Now for this row, you're going to do a single crochet decrease in every 2 stitches. So you're just taking 2 stitches and combining them together, and it shrinks your number in half. And it's going to really bunch up your work really quickly. So to do a single crochet decrease, you're going to go into this first stitch right here, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook, and you're not going to finish that. You're going to go into the very next stitch right here, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now you have 3 loops on your hook, and you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. And you just took 2 stitches down to 1. So now you're going to do that same thing in the next 2 stitches. Go in, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook. Do not finish that. Go in your next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. And see, now you have just 2 stitches instead of 4 stitches. And you're going to do that all the way across, going into the next stitch, yarning over, pulling up a loop, and going into the very next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and yarn over, pull through all 3. So you should have ended with an even number so that you were able to go into every 2 stitches. So that's row 43. For row 44, we're going to chain 1 and turn. And by single crochet decreasing, it just broaden your work super fast. Now row 44 and 45 are going to be the exact same. You're just going to go into every single stitch, just doing 1 single crochet. Super simple. Just going into every single one of them with 1 single crochet. So you should have 21 stitches for row 44 and 45. So you just single crochet all the way across. At the very end, chain 1, turn, single crochet all the way across, and I will meet you at the end of row 45. So for row 46, you're going to chain 1 and turn. And to start this row, you're going to start out in the first 2 stitches with a single crochet decrease. So go into that first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, go into the very next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. And now you're going to single crochet in each stitch, 1 single crochet, until you get to 2 stitches left, and then you're going to do another decrease. So I will meet you at the end and show you what that will look like. And this is where you need to stop when you have 2 stitches left, and you're going to do, oh my goodness, Girly, you wanted to say hi? Okay, so there's 2 stitches left, and you're going to go in and do your single crochet decrease, just like the beginning of this row. Like that. So the first and last stitch is a single crochet decrease. So you took 2 stitches and 2 stitches down to 1, but the rest of them are just regular 1 single crochets. And you had 21 stitches, so now you should have 19 stitches if you count this row. So if you have 19 stitches, awesome. We're going to move on. Chain 1 and turn. This is row 47. You're going to just single crochet in each stitch. So remember, you have 19 stitches, so you should have 19 stitches going into every single crochet. Now you're going to chain 1 and turn, and this is your last row. You're going to repeat row 46. Now you're going to single crochet decrease in the first 2 stitches and the last 2 stitches, and 1 single crochet in the ones in between. So your first 2 stitches right here, pull up a loop, go in the next one, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3, and that is your single crochet decrease. Now just go across all of the other ones with 1 single crochet in each stitch till you get to your last 2 stitches, and save those for your single crochet decrease. Just like that. Now you're going to yarn off, just do like a chain 1, but then pull on your yarn and give yourself enough to weave in. Doesn't have to be a crazy amount, but just enough. You're going to yarn off. Now you're going to spin your work. Do not flip it, just spin it to the right so that you can get down to the beginning part of your bag. Okay, so you need to grab your yarn again and make a slip knot. Have it ready and then you're going to find the second chain from your first double crochet. So mine is, let's see, where is mine? Mine is this guy right here. It doesn't really matter. You're just trying to mimic as if you were crocheting on this side. So put your slip knot on there, pull through, and now chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And just like the other side, you're going to repeat row 40 to 48. So as if we were done with row 39, doing our double crochet and then chaining 3 and turning, this would be where you left off. And now you would start your half double crochet, chain 1, half double crochet, chain 1, all the way. That's row 40. So you can rewind the video, go back to where I taught you row 40 to row 48. And I will meet you back at the end of row 48, so don't yarn off. So you just start in the, because remember your chain 2 is your half double crochet, that third chain is your chain 1, so then you would start over here with your first true half double crochet, chaining 1, yarn over, and for me there's only one loop to go in. There's only one loop available, so that's where I'm going in, but it's at the top of your double crochets like that. So you're just going to repeat half double crochets all the way down till you get to here, and then you chain, just keep repeating. I can get to the end and show you. That's my 42nd half double crochet, and that very last double crochet makes this your very last half double crochet, and that's 43 half double crochets. So now you chain 2, 1, 2, and turn, and that was row 40. This is row 41, and this is where you do your single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1. Don't yarn off. When you get to the end of row 48, I will meet back up with you then and show you the next step. I finished my 48 rows. This is just my very last stitch. This is what it should look like. Just you brought in 2 of the sides. This is maybe the front and the back. It doesn't matter. They look the exact same. And then these are going to be these sides. And then we're going to have straps that are going to be right above this area. So we're going to start working in rounds. So you need your markers now, and right where we left off, you're not turning this, you know, back and forth for the wrong side and the right side. We're just going to be working in rounds, and it's never going to be flipped. So right in that last stitch, in that space, you're going to do another single crochet, and you're going to mark that stitch with your first stitch marker. Just like that. And this is going to be side 1 from this corner down to this corner. This whole side is side 1. And now you're just going to eyeball going into the side stitches until you get to these let's call them double crochets. The double crochets actually face in this direction, but they're not double crochets in this direction, but we'll just call them that because that's kind of what they look like, just to make the video easier to follow. So you need to get all the way to these open spots. You can clearly see one right there, but they all will have an opening right there where you're going to go in, and you need this to be an even number when you get to this corner. So just space it out evenly. Since this is the side, there's not a great, you know, clear as day stitch to go in. So just kind of eyeball this step. And then keep track of your stitches because you need it to be an even number for round 2. So just go in and now I have made it to my first double crochet. So you're going to go into that hole, and this is just single crochets, and you're going to go all the way over to this next hole. That's the only spot you're going to go in. This next one right there. This next one's right here. Just go all the way across, and I will meet you when we get towards the end of this side. And you count the stitch that this stitch marker is in. So don't forget to count this stitch also, not the stitches after. Include this stitch in your even number. So I'm getting towards my first corner. I have 47 stitches so far. So again, just space out. That's 48. 49. 50. 51. And 52. Then that's an even number. Mine is 52. It doesn't have to be 52. Just roughly, you know, if you're spacing out, you don't want too many stitches because you are trying to shrink this side as well. But 52 is my count. Not only do you need it to be even, you need to keep track of what that number is because the other side also needs to be 52 because they need to match. So you have a well-balanced bag, and you're going to mark. For me, it's 52, so I'm going to mark the 52nd stitch. That's side 1. Now we're on side 2. We're going to work on our first strap. So I'm going to chain 80, and the length of the strap is just how far you want it to drape on your shoulder. So if you want it to be a little bit shorter, or if you want it really long, make a longer chain, like maybe 100 or just whatever. But again, just keep track of that number because you do want it to match your other strap. So keep all that in mind. I'm just going to round it up to 80. That's a good number. So just start chaining, and I will show you how to connect your long chain, and make sure to not twist this because you don't want a twisted shoulder strap. Okay, so I did my 80 chains, and I made sure my strap isn't twisted at all, or my chains isn't twisted. You're going to connect in the top of the next corner with a single crochet. So you just go in, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through your 2 loops that are on your hook, like that. And then you're going to mark this stitch as your first stitch of side 3. And my number for side 1 was 52, so this is stitch 1 of my 52. So now I just got to do 51 more stitches, evenly spaced out, till I get to, you know, here, these double crochets that are on their sides. And again, go into the holes right there. There's one. And then I will meet you at the end, and I will see if I'm getting pretty much 52 right on the money. Okay, I'm getting towards the end. I have 48, so I still need 4 more stitches to just evenly space out and kind of eyeball. 49, 50, 51, and 52. So whatever that last stitch number was for you, mark that, and then the same chain as your original strap. This will be strap 2. This is side 4. Mine was 80, so I'm going to chain 80, and I will meet you at the end of that, and I will show you how to connect your second strap. Okay, I have my 80 chains for my second strap, and where my stitch marker is, I'm going to take out my marker, keeping track of my stitch, and I'm going to slip stitch into that stitch. So just yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull that loop through the next one. You're not going to mark that stitch yet. You're going to start single crochet decreasing. This is round 2. And for this whole side, every 2 stitches, you're going to shrink together down to 1. So in that first stitch, the same stitch that you just slip stitched into, go back in it, yarn over, pull up a loop, go into the very next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook, and you're going to yarn over and go through all 3 loops. And you're going to mark that stitch as your first stitch for this side. So the one right next to it would be a slip stitch. You're not counting that. You just didn't want to add any more stitches. If you attached it with a single crochet and then tried to decrease, you're adding another stitch, and you're not trying to do that. You're trying to shrink this bag down, not add more stitches. So now go into the next 2 stitches with another decrease, yarn over, pull up a loop, go in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, and go through all 3 of those. And you just took 4 stitches down to 2. So whatever your original even number is, you're going to shrink it in half. So every single 2 stitches, you're going to decrease all the way across. It's a super fast decrease. You're going to shrink your bag just like this method. You're going to shrink it really quickly. It's 25 stitches, and again, if you did this correctly with the even number, that stitch and the stitch that your stitch marker is in is your last 2 to decrease. So that should be how you ended your row. So just took my stitch marker out. I'm going to go into my last 2 stitches to decrease, and now I'm going to put the stitch marker in that stitch. So now I went from 52 stitches down to 26, and there will be 80 chains after the stitch marker and before this stitch marker. So you can still count, and then when you get close to over here, I should have 80 chains right before my stitch marker. So whatever number you went with, if you went with 80, then great. Just go into every single chain with just 1 single crochet, and I'm going to turn my chain so I can get 2 loops. I go through 2 loops when I work with a chain on a shoulder strap. So just like that. And now I am at my first stitch marker, and you're going to start side 3 with your single crochet decreases, starting with that first stitch marker. So after your 80th single crochet, go into where your stitch marker was in, yarn over, pull up a loop, and go into the very next stitch. Go in, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through all 3. That is your first decrease. Mark that stitch. So again, I should have 52 over here, bringing it down to 26 in the end, going over to my next stitch marker. So this stitch and this stitch will be my last decrease, and that should be 26 decreases. And that right there is my 26th decrease. So I am right on track. Take my stitch marker out so I can go into those stitches and mark that stitch. And now I am back to my next strap. This is side 4, the last side of round 2. And again, you're going to just single crochet in each chain. There's 80 chains. I should have 80 single crochets right before my other stitch marker at the very beginning. The first one is usually the most difficult, but if you can get to it and get those 2 loops like that, yarn over, pull through, do your single crochet, then the rest of the chain, it just opens up and you're able to just turn it and go through 2 loops. I don't know why the first one's difficult, but you're able to turn it and just go through 2 loops. So as long as you get that first one down, the other ones are super easy to go in. Chains, when they're a part of work, are hard. Like a foundation chain at the very beginning is not difficult, but when you go from like stitches and then you have like this weird connection, that chain's not perfect and it's just difficult to go in. But if you can get it back on track, then it makes the rest of the chains lined right up, because you need, you know, that to also have that same third loop. So there's just certain loops you got to go in for it to match. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you even want to go in 1 loop, it's just a preference. So if it's too difficult, go in whatever makes you comfortable, whatever works out. Alrighty, I finished my 80 single crochets for my second strap, and now I am back to the beginning on side 1. This is round 3, and this is a super duper easiest round because it's 1 single crochet in every single stitch all the way till you meet back up here. So you should have, if you do the exact amount of stitches as me, you should have 26 stitches, then 80 stitches, then 26, and then 80. Just 1 single crochet in every single stitch, and keep your stitch markers. So after you do your first stitch, put your stitch marker back in and your last stitch marker back in. You do want to keep those. Yeah. I don't know why I was questioning where I was going in. Just like that. That will be my stitch 1 of my 26. So super duper easy, 1 single crochet in every single stitch around all 4 sides. And I will meet you when you get back to the beginning. I went all the way around all 4 sides, and this is my stitch marker. So I'm going to take that out. And now for round 4 on side 1, in that first stitch and the stitch next to it, you're going to do a single crochet decrease. So you go in, yarn over, pull up a loop, go in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then you're going to mark that stitch, and you're going to do 1 more single crochet decrease in the next 2 stitches. So this stitch right here, go in, pull up a loop, and in the next stitch, go in, pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3. And you have 2 decreases. Now you're going to just 1 single crochet in every single stitch across until you get to 4 stitches. So stop when you have 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches, and you're going to do 2 more single crochet decreases. So almost all the way across. I will meet you there. I have 20 stitches so far. So now I'm going to do my single crochet decrease. That makes 21 stitches. I'm going to take my stitch marker out and do another single crochet in these last 2 stitches. and that makes 22 stitches. Now for side 2, which is your strap, you're just going to single crochet in every single stitch just like before, so 80 single crochets. For side 3, you're going to do a single crochet decrease right where your marker was. Go in, pull up a loop, go in the next stitch, pull up a loop, mark that stitch, do a decrease in the next 2 stitches as well. Go in, pull up a loop, go in the next stitch, pull up a loop. There's your 2 decreases, and now you're just going to 1 single crochet until you get to 4 stitches, including your stitch marker. So now I'm just going to do my first decrease, which makes 21 stitches, and now I'm going to get rid of my stitch marker so I can go in the last 2 to do a single crochet decrease, and there's my 22 stitches. And now I am to my second strap, and now I will do 1 single crochet in my 80 single crochets for my strap. Now round 5 and 6 are going to be our last rounds, and they're super easy. It's just 1 single crochet in every single stitch. That's it. There's no decreasing, there's nothing else. It's just 1 single crochet in every single stitch along. So there's 22 stitches on the side. There should be 80 for your strap, another 22 stitches on the other side, 80, and then you're going to do that again. This is my first stitch marker, so I'm going to take that out, do my first single crochet, and I'm going to add my stitch marker just so I know when I get to the end of round 5. Now when you get to the other stitch markers, you can take them out. You will no longer need to know, but you do need this one. You need to know when you get all the way to the end so that you're doing round 6 after that. And then when you get back after round 6, I will meet you at this very first stitch marker. I am to my first stitch marker. So all you're going to do is take your stitch marker out because you are done. Oh, it closed on me. Just take it out. And in that stitch that you took it out of, you're just going to slip stitch to close your bag because you are done. And then pull a decent amount because this is the very, very end and you want a good amount so that you can weave it in so it won't unravel. Just pull it through, and now you would put this on a needle and then go on the inside, so make it go in this direction because this is the outside of your bag, that way you won't see it, and then just hide it, weave it back and forth in multiple directions so it won't unravel. It'll be less likely to unravel. So once you weave in your tails, you are ready to go and you have your very own filet crochet market bags. I can do a side by side of the different color changes. This was the original one, so it just changed your colors super fast. So if you wanted that yarn design versus stripes, they're both adorable. I love them. Hopefully you love them too, and hopefully you love this pattern and it was easy to follow. If it was, let me know. And don't forget to like and comment and subscribe and all those good things. It really helps me out. I love sharing this stuff with you. Just keep a lookout for my next video. I have another bag in the making, so I'm really excited to share that. And enjoy crocheting your filet crochet market bags. Bye, crochet friends.